شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير وأصلي وأسلم على رسولنا الأمين محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, أوصيكم بتقوى الله العظيم ولزوم طاعته لقوله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ولقوله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا. Brothers and sisters, by the name of Allah Ta'ala the Merciful, Allah Ta'ala the Creator who created us, Allah Ta'ala who put us on this earth for one reason, which is worshiping Allah Ta'ala and keep building the earth for better outcome. And I bear witness there is no God worthy of worshiping but Allah Ta'ala, and Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is His messenger. Brothers and sisters, I advise myself and advise you to fear Allah Ta'ala. Fear Allah Ta'ala because whenever you put the fearness of Allah Ta'ala in your heart, all of your actions will follow. And you will remember Allah Ta'ala in any of your actions. And when that happens, inshaAllah Ta'ala, you will do all the good deeds that will lead you to Jannah, which is the ultimate goal, inshaAllah Rabbil Alameen, after the happiness and satisfaction of Allah Ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, today's khutbah is about a topic that many people don't like even to think about it. It's about a topic that Allah Ta'ala put some ayats and some verses in the Quran about it. And also it's about a topic that we are not doing or we're trying to avoid doing because we have a hope for longer life. Indeed, the trigger for this topic, because recently we have a couple of incidents that I need to share with everyone. But the topic of today is the living will. It's your wasiyah. And many people think whenever you're talking about wasiyah, it's only recommended for elderly or somebody who's dying or any other reason. Indeed, that's incorrect. Brothers and sisters, the living will is required from any Muslim, anywhere in the world. You're required to put the living will because, first of all, you don't know when you're going to leave. That's a fact. And whenever that time is coming, or you are in the, let's say, on the deathbed, and you're going to say, I'm going to put my living will now, it's not going to be accepted. Living will not be accepted when you are on the deathbed. You have to prepare this wasiyah or living will way before that, whenever you are healthy and able to put that wasiyah. Sayyidina Shafi'i, he put his living will whenever he was 17 years old. And it's required, as I said, from everyone to put that. The reason that triggered this was this khutbah, brothers and sisters, and especially in this country, recently we have at least now 3 incidents, and 2 of them are recent, that we have Muslim brothers who passed away, and we could not do anything about burying them in the right way, which is in this graveyard. They ended up being buried in non-Muslim graveyard because either they did not have the right wasiyah or right living will, or they did not have any. And their family, who are not non-Muslims, they made the decision. Unfortunately, there is nothing to do. There is nothing to do. You cannot do anything. You can't force anybody in this country. And this is why the living will or the wasiyah is extremely important from each one of us. And that's important because you need to make sure that your family know exactly what they're going to do with you after you leave. Brothers and sisters, the wasiyah or the living will is not about your wealth only. No, that's incorrect. It's part of it. Matter of fact, you cannot do the wasiyah or the living will for all of your wealth. You cannot. The story of Sayyidina Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas with our Prophet, whenever Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he was sick, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, please, came to visit him, and he said, Oh Prophet Muhammad, can I do my living well with all of my money because I have only one daughter? Sayyidina Muhammad said no. He said, how about half? He said no. He said, how about third? He said, third is okay, but third is too much too. Sayyidina Abu Bakr, whenever he did his will or living well for his wealth, he did it only for 1/5. Only 1/5. And he said, I'm going to match whatever is the Quran saying about the ghanaim or whatever we get from wars. But the brothers and sisters, I need you to know that the living well again is not about the wealth only. And why it's more important in this country than any other country, because we have many rules here does not match the Islamic rules that we need to make sure that it's written in your will. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit and tell you exactly how you can write your living will. I tried my best to get a copy maybe or some copies and put them here in the masjid. I'll try next week inshallah. You can take them with you and write down your will because the format is the same. But I will try to get a good source and get one of them. If I cannot, I will come up with something inshallah. But brothers and sisters, whenever you do your will, the first thing, whenever you put in the will, the first thing you need to put, that you die saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. All of us said that, but we don't have it written anywhere. So imagine how is the will going to prove that you died as Muslim. So start with this, that you said that you bear witness there is no God worth of worship but Allah Ta'ala. So just document that. And that could be a way of da'wah for whoever reading that after you. It could be your kids, it could be anybody else. So remember, this is the first thing you need to do. Second thing, you need to make sure that if you have kids, to tell them what you are advising them to do after you leave. And you need to tell them that I advise you to fear Allah Ta'ala. أوصيكم بتقوى الله. I advise you to fear Allah Ta'ala. And then talk to them about prayer. Talk to them to iqamatul salah. Establish the prayers. You don't know, that could be a way to make da'wah for your kids. We are in a foreign country, brothers and sisters. We are responsible for all the generations coming after us. Some scholars said even to the 4th generation. You need to protect yourself. You need to say, I recommend that you stay on the shahadatu an la ilaha illallah. I recommend you establish the salah. I recommend that you establish the zakah. I recommend that you do hajj if you can. You need to write that down on the wasiyah. And the format is telling you that, how to say it and how you put it. After you finish these important topics that you're going to cover with your kids, and make sure that they read it before they bury you, because you could have something about the burial as well. Make sure that you do that. And make sure that you tell them and recommend to them, because unfortunately we have habits that the wife could start crying and raising her voice. Tell her that, please don't raise your voice. That's going to hurt me as Muslim who's dying. Just put that in a way or another. After you put all of these conditions, then you start talking about your wealth. Write it down in a way it's clear. Don't make it vague for you, whoever coming after you. I'm sorry, I need to go back one step. You need to make sure the next one, in this country, you need to say that I would like to be buried in the Islamic way. And if you can determine if you are staying in Gastonia where, that would be better. But you need to make sure that you need to be buried in the Islamic way, in the Islamic graveyards. That will protect you and give us the authority to say, no, there is a will, living will, that we can help this gentleman or this lady who passed away as Muslim to bury them correctly. Please include that. After that, you're talking about your wealth. Brothers and sisters, unfortunately, we keep working hard in this life, thinking that life is going to be eternity. It's not eternity. And before you talking about the wasiyah or living will, do your best to do khair now while you're living. Do sadaqah jariyah, do charity, do all zakat, do everything you can. But also part of your wealth, whenever you pass it along to your kids. And as I said, it's recommended, less than a third of your wealth, to go in charity or good deeds, and determine what you are talking about to make it big. We have many living well that sitting for years because people cannot tell what he was trying to do. So make sure that I needed, for example, I needed to be charity for the masjid to do a madrasa or do something that for charity. If you did not do Hajj because you're sick or for any other reason, put some money on the side and said, I need somebody to do Hajj on my behalf, maybe one of your kids. So make sure these are important topics that you need to cover. After that, you cannot do any wasiyah or any living will for your kids. You cannot say that I need to give 100,000 to my son here or my daughter. You cannot do that. La wasiyata liwarith. You cannot recommend a living will for your kids. But you need to mention in your wasiyah in this country that you need your wealth to be distributed according to the Islamic way. Make it so clear. Otherwise, especially if you don't have kids, everything gonna be gone. If you have kids and they're gonna go through the rules here, it's gonna be difficult to distribute and you're gonna be responsible. Whenever you pass away, brothers and sisters, there are two big problems you're gonna face. The first problem, you're going to lose all your wealth. It's going to be behind you. Second problem, you're going to be in front of Allah Ta'ala responsible for every penny you collected. So you need to make sure that while you are living, do it the right way. And whenever you pass away or before, put your living will so people exactly understand what you're trying to do and how to do it. Brothers and sisters, living will, and many scholars said that you are not supposed to spend more than 48 hours or sometimes 72 hours without having living will. I'm guilty of that, but I learned it. I have to do that as well. So please, try your best to have a living will. The advantage of the living will, brothers and sisters, you keep changing it with time. As you are growing with your life, you can change it. And most of the living will, whenever you start with it, you're going to focus a lot on the rights of people and how you're going to take care of some stuff. But with time, whenever you update it, you'll find yourself doing a lot of good deeds. You're going to start recommending stuff for Allah Ta'ala. So it's a good practice to make you better. And inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, you get a lot of rewards after you leave. So Allah Ta'ala is recommending that. And we have many ayat talking about the living will. Indeed, in Surah Al-Baqarah, brothers and sisters, we have 3 ayat make it very clear that we have to do the living will, which is the ayat 180 to 182. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. كتب عليكم إذا حضر أحدكم الموت إن ترك خيرا الوصية للوالدين والأقربين بالمعروف حقا على المتقين فمن بدله بعدما سمعه فإنما إثمه على الذين يبدلونه إن الله سميع عليم فمن خاف من موص جنفا أو إثما فأصلح بينهم فلا إثم عليه إن الله غفور رحيم. Brothers and sisters, this ayat is telling you that before you die, you have to put your living will. And you need to fear Allah Ta'ala whenever you do it. And after you pass away, if somebody changed that living will, it's not going to be on you, it's going to be on them. But also in this ayat says, if your living will is wrong, and it's going to impact somebody negatively, somebody can change it for your sake, to make it better for you, so I'm not going to be responsible. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز بالمستغفرين استغفر الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الأمين محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, some conditions related to the living will. If you have little kids, make sure that you put in that living will who's going to be responsible for your kids. Again, in this country, if you don't have that in writing, the state could take care of that, and you don't need that. You need to make sure that there's somebody going to take care of your kids if they are young. And also, brothers and sisters, the living will is not about your wealth only. If you have some duyun, if you are in debt with someone, you need to make sure that whoever coming after you, because you will not enter Jannah if you have any duyun or any debt on you or someone else. So you need to make sure that even to write that, make sure that Allah Ta'ala will not forgive these rights of other people. You need to make sure He will forgive you for mistakes that you did to Allah Ta'ala. But if you have loans or something on somebody else, Allah Ta'ala will not forgive till you pay it. Brothers and sisters, the living will, we have many kinds of them, which are, some of them are wajiba, which is you must do it, especially if you have some loans. And also mustahabba, which is it's really good idea to have it whenever you have enough money and you are wealthy enough to put at least 1/3, or at most, 1/3 of your wealth for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. And there is a wasiyya muharrama, which is the last ayah I mentioned a minute ago. If you have a living will that impacting somebody negatively, you're going to be responsible. SubhanAllah, today I was at work and one of the ladies working with me, she was telling me about her grandma who passed away. And she put in her living will that she put lists of names that she does not, or she doesn't, basically that time, she does not need them to come and visit her at the funeral home. So I said, SubhanAllah, that even the people, like you are dying, you're leaving, and you just still have that problem with people. You need to stop thinking about that. And as I mentioned, brothers and sisters, the conditions of wasiyah, you need to make sure that to follow, that first of all, remind everybody, first of all, saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Remind everybody about taqwa, salah, and all of these good things. And you can look at Surah Luqman, how Luqman al-Hakim, he talked to his son and told him what he needs him to do. And after that, you're talking about your wealth. Make it clear for your burial, please, brothers and sisters, please. Especially if you are not married to a Muslim lady, or you have still family who are not Muslim, make it clear. And at the end, brothers and sisters, you need to make sure that you have witness in your wasiyah. So get a couple of family members that you trust very well, and make sure that they are witness and sign that wasiyah. And also, if you can go to an attorney and make sure that it's legalized, you can do that. But if you cannot, you need to make sure that you need to legalize it in a way or another that nobody can change it. The great thing in this country, these living will are respected, and nobody can mess with them as long as they are written. But unfortunately, if they are not written, it's going to be a bad deal, brothers and sisters. And inshallah ta'ala, I ask Allah ta'ala, all of us will pass away in a really, with the faith of Islam, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. And I wish each one of us soon, inshallah, provide their living will and keep it with you. Share it with somebody that you can trust. Make sure that they know exactly why you have your living will. Don't leave it with just like because you have a long hope that you're going to stay for a long time. You don't know, brothers and sisters. You don't know, like we have many examples, a story of someone like was in an accident. Someone is telling the story. And he was carrying him to the hospital and he started begging him for paper and pen just to write his will. It's impossible to be accepted in that way. He's not in his mindset to recommend or to do wasiyah. So now, whenever you are in a good status to do it, please do it. إن الله أمركم بأمر بدأ به بنفسه ثم ثنى بالملائكة بقدسه ثم قال عز من قال إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما لبيك اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم علي كلمة الحق وهذا الدين. اللهم يا ربنا أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم من كان محسنا فزد في حسناته. اللهم من كان مسيئا فتجاوز عن سيئاته يا رب العالمين. اللهم اهدي أولادنا وبناتنا وزوجاتنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى يا رب العالمين. اللهم أعنا يا ربنا على كتابة وصايانا بالطريقة الإسلامية. اللهم احفظنا في كل بقاع الأرض. اللهم احفظ الإسلام والمسلمين في كل بقاع الأرض. اللهم يا